And so you just didn't hear what I was saying. And so you think I didn't answer your question. Because I mean, there were plenty of times we were talking over each other. Or maybe I cut out. Or maybe
Well, I was
just like what I had
recording
seen in
and
this
it's
wait,
not in the
okay, so
recording at
or
all.
maybe what had happened right here in this conversation. Seems as though you just don't listen to some of what I say.
Well, no, look, I don't recall any parts of you. I remember you saying that you couldn't hear me, but I don't recall any.
That's what I'm saying, maybe. As I said, maybe. I never said for certain that, oh, well, that it cut out. I'm saying perhaps, maybe perhaps I cut out on your end because that's happened for me quite a
So
few
your
times.
claim is that you did
I think
answer.
Tessera's in here.
So your claim is that you did answer one of my questions, but nobody heard you and it didn't show up in the recording because you're cut
I'm
out.
saying it's possible.
That's
Saying it's
yeah, it's
possible because
possible,
I have
sir. That it's
notoriously bad
possible that
connection.
God
Yeah.
exists too. It's possible that God exists too. That's not. It's not very interesting to point out. Anyway, so let's get to my question
Okay, no,
now.
I'm saying maybe that's why, because I was asking you which questions I didn't answer. And then it seems as though you've been stalling this entire time, just not trying to answer that one simple question. Because if you,
Wait,
like you
you're
said, have
asking
watched
me.
the recording multiple times, if you yourself have watched the recordings multiple times, then you'd be able to point out the questions that I didn't answer, or like say
Yeah,
at
I
least
can.
the
I
most
can go
notable
through a
examples.
long list
So,
of questions. I can go through
okay,
a
so
long
do it. Why
list
don't
of
we just stop
questions.
filibustering and philandering around? Why don't you just get to it?
Okay. All right. You want me to ask you one of the questions that you didn't answer? Okay. But the thing is, you're not going to answer it right now, too. Like, you might
I
respond to
don't
it,
care.
but
I'll
you're
do it
not
right
going
now. I
to
don't
actually.
care.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
just go
everybody
ahead. Stop
prepare.
filibustering and get to the point.
So everybody prepare. I'm going to ask him a question, and I want the room to know it's like he'll like talk back, but he won't actually provide the justification, right? So the question is, what belief do you have? Knowledge is justified true belief, right? So what belief do you
Okay.
have that does not rely on your reasoning, and then in turn you use your reasoning to determine your reasoning is reliable, which would be circular. Now I want the room to notice how he won't provide one of those beliefs or justifications. Go ahead, Demi. Humiliate yourself.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer that right after I say this. It's quite interesting. Look at this. Very hypocritical. Trying to say, oh, well, I want this to be more respectful. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, do you not
You're
think
not
that we're
fooling me.
being more
But anyways,
respectful?
well, no, you're saying you want it to be like really calm and shit like that. So what I think
Yeah,
what you're doing right there
I
is
have
trying
a
to
calm
provoke
voice
is
and I
trying to
haven't
provoke the
called you any
situation.
name. I have a
No, the
calm voice
calm.
and I haven't
Okay,
called
so
you any
no, this
names.
is actually just kind of an idiotic attempt to try to paint it as though the only way that you could say not be like say respectful is like say the use of language. Because like for example, if I were to sit here and say I want you to kill yourself, I would say that's not very like amicable or like calm use of language. Though my tone may be calm or my demeanor even. I don't think that the language itself is, but this is getting beside the point. Okay, so anyways, yeah, no, all beliefs are based off of two, I think, presupposed axioms. And so those would be like the laws of logic. Because in order to have a view about reality, you have to presuppose those base axioms. So yeah.
Yeah, so you didn't answer the question because axioms by
Well, no, I
definition.
told you that all of
Wait,
them are
sir,
based
you're
off of these
interrupting me.
axioms.
You're interrupting me. Excuse me.
Okay, yeah, because you're speaking
Axioms.
falsities
Excuse
already.
me.
Because you're speaking
Excuse me.
falsities
Excuse
already.
me.
Yeah, so
Excuse
you're
me.
just speaking falsities
Matthew,
already.
do you see he does this? This is why he was so scared to have the fair mods because he just talks over me. So an axiom by definition doesn't have justification. So positing axioms isn't answering the question at all because the question was what justified belief, and axioms are not justified because there's assumptions. What justified belief, I told you guys he would fail to answer, what justified belief do you have that does not rely on your reasoning, and in turn you rely on your reasoning to determine your reasoning is reliable, which would be begging the question. Now he's asked the question a
Yeah, I
second time.
never
Let's
said that
watch
those
him
axioms were true.
fail
Hold
to
on, no.
answer
All
again.
right, so you're already okay. So you're already speaking falsities. That's not what I answered to your question. In fact, if you would understand the English language past a third,
Yo, chill with the loud mic. Chill.
all of my beliefs are based
Chill
off
out
of
the
these
loud mic.
axioms.
Yo.
I'm
Chill
not
out with
loud
the loud
miking
mic.
anymore. I already stopped loud miking. What are you talking about?
Isn't this
So,
hilarious?
anyways, I already answered.
Okay.
Like, I didn't tell you that my axioms are justified beliefs. I don't know why you'd say that. That's the most idiotic way to try and frame me as if I'm being evasive. So, I want everyone in here to notice how much of a slimy rat she's being. So, anyways, I told you that these axioms are. I never said that they are. I never said that axioms are necessarily justified. I know what the fucking axiom is. It's a very simple word. You're not a holder of some esoteric knowledge here. So anyways, I told you that all of my beliefs are based off of these two axioms. And or not two axioms, just a few set of axioms. So that's it. That answers your question, because you understand what an axiom is. I understand what an axiom is. And then I said that all of my beliefs are based off of these axioms. And an axiom by definition is just something that's assumed. So
the question was, what justified belief? Positing axioms isn't offering a justified belief, because a justified
okay,
belief
so
is
I already
relying.
answered this. No, I just
Excuse me,
answered this.
you're
You're just going
interrupting
ahead
me.
and repeating yourself
You're
anyways.
interrupting
Well, you're
me.
just repeating
You're
yourself and you're
interrupting
wasting
me.
my time. So
Matthew, see, isn't
anyways,
this hilarious,
yeah, I am
Matthew?
interrupting you. So the
It's
problem with
pathetic.
what you're saying
He
is you're
has to
just
talk
going on
over
around the
me.
same thing anyways. What you're doing is
He
you were
has to
just
talk.
going to sit here and try to
No,
lie
stay
lie
out.
and say that
Fucking
I didn't
Diablos,
answer the
stay the fuck
question. I
out of it. Why
actually
would you
told you.
want
Okay.
Diablos? Why would you want him to be able to have an excuse to run away right now? Shut your fucking mouth, Matthew. Isn't this fucking hilarious?
I haven't ran away from everything and anything. In fact, I came into your server where you could potentially just ban me at the drop of a hat. In fact, I was trying to do it in a server where I'm actually not particularly liked. I even gave you the advantage yesterday. I offered it to you. It's on recording. Wherever I said, I want everyone in here to listen to how much of a slimy rat your fucking queen is. So listen, I told her that in this server, I gave her the option of having a kid named Jamal moderate this. And I told him, she can interrupt me as much as she wants. But if I interrupt her in any way, shape, or form, then mute me. And that actually happened because I laughed really loud. And so he muted me. I laughed at something she
Anyway,
said
so
really
let's just
loud,
get back
and
to
so
the
she muted
issue.
me. So hold on, wait, no, I'm not finished. So if anyone here is just being a fucking slimy rat and trying to run away, it's been her, because she then left that call even after being given that option, even after I was telling people to shut the fuck up and had the mod go ahead and start muting everyone. So I want you to notice how much of a slimy rat this bitch is.
Yeah, that isn't true at all, and there's a crime. But anyway, let's just get back to the issue.
Okay, well, all right, I'll get Jamal
Let's
in
just
here.
get
No, I'll
back
get
to the
Jamal in here.
issue of the
No, I'll get
question.
Jamal in here, and he'll confirm this after. And I'll
You're
just
trying to
explain to you
deflect.
again that I
See,
already
this
had
is
answered the
pathetic.
question. No, I just said that he could do it after, and I'm going to explain why I answered your question. Now, I answered your question because if you were to say, oh, well, what justified, what knowledge do you have that doesn't just rely on you using a circular argument to justify your reasoning? Well, okay, I said all of my beliefs come off of axioms. Her and I both know that axioms are just assumed beliefs. And since axioms are assumed beliefs, that means that they don't necessarily have justification. Oh, so if all of my beliefs come off of something which is, say, not necessarily justified or a true belief, I don't have, say, knowledge of the axioms, I assume them, then what does that mean? Oh, if we use a third grader's level of inference, then we can determine that what I am actually saying is that I don't have any justified true beliefs that don't rely on some type of circular argument. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I did answer the question. Either you're a retard with the language comprehension skills of a wet carrot, or you're being a fucking rat right now. I don't know which it is. You tell me.
Okay, I'll let you go on for a very long time now.
Yeah, cool. I
I
don't care.
think we're
Just go
gonna.
ahead and respond.
Yeah, you're gonna. But when I start to respond, I think you're gonna interrupt me because you're afraid of the response.
No, just go.
So the
Just shut up.
question,
Go.
the,
Go. Watch.
the
Watch this.
question, the, the question was, uh, what justified belief do you have that does not rely on your reasoning, and then you use your reasoning to determine your reasoning is reliable, which would be begging the question. Talking about axioms isn't telling me what belief you possess that doesn't rely on your reasoning, right? Because um, if any justification is going to require an inference, and in order to make the inference, you're going to have to reason it. So So I'll ask you again. Talking about axioms, what I'm just asking you to name one belief you have that doesn't rely on your reasoning.
Okay,
Now
yeah.
you
So
haven't answered.
okay, so watch. I want everyone in here to notice what she's going to do. I'm going to go ahead and explain something. And she is going to say that I am being evasive. I want everyone to notice how she has the reading comprehension skills of a fucking ferret. Like a little weasel. Jesus Christ. So anyways, all of my beliefs come from axioms. So what that means is, now I want you to listen carefully. What that means is that all of them rely on some type of presupposed belief that if I were to try to justify would become some form of question begging. So all of my beliefs would at its base level rely on some type of question begging to justify. because at the base level, all of my beliefs stem from a set of like 3 axioms.
Yeah,
Now,
so can I
everyone
respond?
watch. She's going to say I didn't answer the question.
So can I respond without being interrupted, please? So he actually just
You didn't get
contradicted
interrupted last
himself.
time.
He actually just contradicted himself. First, he said that his beliefs, all his beliefs, rely on axioms, which are assumptions, and then he said that at the foundation of his worldview or whatever is circular. But what the fuck? If you start with an axiom, it's not circular, right? You're starting with an assumption. An assumption isn't circular. Where is he getting this circular stuff from? But anyway, he still hasn't answered the question, right? Talking about axioms isn't an answer to the question. The question is what belief. Do you have a belief that doesn't rely on your justified belief? And a justified belief requires an inference. So it can't just presuppose an axiom that's unjustified, right? Some arbitrary assumption. That wouldn't be justification. Justification requires an inference, which requires you to reason the inference. So my question is, what justified belief do you have that does not rely on your reasoning, and then you use your reasoning to determine your reasoning is reliable, which would be begging the question. Talking about axioms isn't an answer to the question. Go ahead.
Okay, so I literally told you that I have none that could be, say, like completely epistemically justified. And so whenever you actually strawmanned me again, so either you're intentionally doing this, which would mean that you're just a slimy rat and that you're incredibly disingenuous, or you just are simply too, I guess, slow to understand what it is that I'm saying. If you ask me, what beliefs do you have? And I say, oh, well, like, what beliefs do you have that are justified? And I'm like, well, I don't really have any. I wouldn't be able to say that I have any, because all of what, like, say, I guess, air quotes knowledge, for lack of a better term, that I have is like at its base. Like, if I were to attempt to justify it, now this is why I think you're strawmanning me, because I specifically stated if I were to attempt to justify these, like any of my beliefs, it would then come down to some type of circular reasoning. Because all right, though they're axioms, it's like in an attempt to justify them. I never said that I justified the axioms. Not once did I say I did. In fact, I said the opposite of that. So stop trying to fucking strawman me.
Okay, so I think
I don't know what's wrong with you.
he finally did answer the question. You know what his answer was? He doesn't have any justified beliefs that don't rely on his reasoning, because any justified belief would rely on his reasoning, right? So he's saying he doesn't have any justified beliefs. That means he doesn't know anything, which was the entire point of my argument the entire time from the original debate. So this asshole, retard, idiotic, moron, fool just admitted he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know that he's talking to me right now. He doesn't even know that he exists. He's unjustified. If he starts with an arbitrary assumption as the foundation of his worldview, then he can't get justified beliefs from that, right? Using his reasoning by being circular, because being circular is always fallacious. So his entire worldview is based on arbitrary assumptions followed by circular reasoning. So his entire worldview collapses into absurdity, and he just basically brutally humiliated and destroyed himself by admitting that he doesn't have any justified true beliefs. You're a fucking clown.
Yeah, okay. So I think that what you're doing here is just it's kind of hilarious. So yeah. You're trying to say that these assumptions are completely arbitrary. Well, no. With using my reasoning like in an unjustified way. I mean, you're right. It does become circular to attempt to justify the foundations of my epistemology. Okay, yeah, and that doesn't really matter because well, that wouldn't really matter as a proof that it is arbitrary. My bad. I ate a brownie earlier, so whatever. But yeah, so I wouldn't say that it's arbitrary. I've looked through a bunch of different propositions. Now, again, this is without justifying it in an attempt to justify it, because either that or I would just have to sit or do what I perceive to be sitting around doing nothing, simply because well, I don't know anything. So yeah, I operated as though I was able to have some type of knowledge or reasoning in an attempt to try to justify said knowledge or reasoning. So that's just what Descartes did. He sat there, did thought experiments and everything. And so then it came to, say, the law of identity, which is simple A equals A. I have no way to debunk that, so I assume it to be true, even though I may not justify it to be true. However, within that system, I could then have some type of like knowledge granted those axioms. So anyways, even with you trying to say, oh, well, oh, well, knowledge requires God. well, I mean, that would still like that argument itself would fall under like the law of identity anyways. So it's not as though I don't have any type of, well, yes, you're saying saying that that argument is its argument. Like, God. So yeah, no,
Are you
you're
done?
just sitting here trying to poison the well. And I think it's kind of fucking blatantly obvious that you yourself are kind of a hypocrite when you say, "Oh, well, you just wanna insult. You don't want to be civil and shit like that." But then you do the same exact thing. Like it's pretty fucking it's pretty fucking hilarious. I think everyone in here sees how much of a fucking hypocrite you are. Fucking 40-year-olds screaming at 20-year-olds.
Okay,
It's
so he doesn't.
hilarious.
So first of all, he doesn't even know what poisoning the well is, because poisoning the well is dismissing your opponent's argument in virtue of attacking their character, sort of character attack. And he hasn't given an argument, so it would be impossible for me to fucking poison the well. And I haven't really said anything about him
Mm, mm.
insulting anyway. I'm just responding to the actual context of the conversation, the actual substantive conversation, not the he's doing the meta shit. Anyway, so he um starts with the arbitrary assumptions, and he says that he says the axioms are not arbitrary. What the fuck? Our axioms by definition are unjustified, right? You're not reasoning them to be true, you're not making any inference, you're just, I take arbitrary to mean just doing it on a whim. That's my definition of
Oh,
arbitrary. So
yeah, so
excuse me, I'm not
we
finished.
have
You're
some
gonna
type of
interrupt me because you're
miscommunication there.
scared. I have a
Yeah,
lot
that's
more to
fine.
say, and I'm
Okay,
not
yeah, you can
finished.
sit
I'm
here
not
and
finished.
say the
Oh,
exact same
now
thing
he
over and
wants
over.
to
You just say,
interrupt
"Oh,
because
well,
he's
you're scared
scared. He's
anyways." But
scared. He's
anyways,
scared. Look,
well,
you
no,
said a
because you're
lot
just
of
going on long
you're
rants. No, you're
scared. You're
going on long
scared.
rants. So
You're
I just need
interrupting
to
because you're
address one
scared.
thing.
You're
So
scared.
there's actually a
You're
bit
scared.
of
You won't let me
disconnect
talk because
here.
you're
Well,
scared
I'm
because I'm
actually
humiliating
Okay.
you.
So,
I'm
anyways, you're trying
humiliating
to sit
you.
here and claim that
I
I'm
didn't
scared, but that
interrupt
doesn't
you.
really do anything for
I
anything.
didn't interrupt
Yeah,
you
okay,
any of
I
the
don't care.
times.
I don't
Why
care.
do
I've
you?
made it blatantly clear that I don't
He's
care.
scared,
So,
so he's
anyways,
interrupting me.
you're speaking
Yeah,
falsities. No,
he's
I've actually
scared.
done
He
this
knows I'm gonna
consistently.
fucking. I was had a
I'm
much
actually
longer
going to
response to
correct
everything
you.
he was saying.
Yeah,
I had a
okay.
much longer
So,
response to
you don't.
everything he was
How could you
saying,
know what I know?
and he's gonna
You
try.
see,
He's gonna try
fucking
to.
retard anyways. So
He's gonna try
anyways,
to
I'm not
escape by
actually
just
trying to
talking
get
over me
into
the
a
whole
debate with
time.
that anyways. So no, I'm not trying to talk with you the whole time. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
address two
you don't
things
want
before
to
you
let
move
me
forward. So
respond because you're
anyways, all
scared,
right. So
sir.
anyways,
It's
what
so
the problem that I'm
transparent to the
seeing
whole
here is
room right
you were
now
sitting
what
there
you're
and
doing.
trying to say, oh well, you just don't know what these things are. So perhaps maybe just hear me out. Just use your big girl reasoning. I know that you're capable of this. Maybe, just maybe, I defined it differently. And then maybe you could just use, say, context clues to determine what I mean by that. Okay, it's not that difficult. I don't see why this is some type of like fucking monumental task, some Herculean task for you. Like Jesus Christ, I don't know what's wrong with you. Holy fucking shit. And I'm not trying to sit here and just go ahead and like say, oh, poisoning the well in like say the debate fallacy sense. No, that's not what I mean by poisoning the well. I'm not using it in that sense. So I mean, maybe just don't make these assumptions. Also, when I said arbitrary, I was using it in a different way because or say I guess I'm operating under different definitions than you are. Maybe you're more of a philosophy nerd, so you use it how fucking I don't know Descartes or someone fucking defined it. I don't care who defined it and how you're using it as defined. I was using it in a different way. So if you want to sit here and address what I'm saying, then I mean maybe you should understand what I'm saying rather than just sitting here and saying, oh well, you don't actually understand what you're saying. What it means is this. Well, okay, that's how you're defining it. That doesn't do anything for your position or anything. That doesn't do really anything except just make you kind of look disingenuous. Makes you look kind of like a rat.
Okay,
All
so I
right, so
think
there
it's
we go. I put my
transparent.
headset back on so I can
I
hear
think
what you're saying now.
I think it's transparent to the room that he wouldn't let me speak. I mean, I was gonna totally rip apart. I had a long response to the shit he said. I was gonna go on a long rant about the nonsense Descartes stuff and why it's wrong and why Descartes can't know anything either. But I couldn't get to that point because I was already humiliating with something he had said earlier. So he interrupted me. So I think it's clear to the room that he is too afraid to let me have finished what I said. So I'm not going to bother to respond to the other shit he said because I didn't get a chance to respond to the bullshit he had said the time before that. So, Demi, I think it's transparent to the room that you've been humiliated and destroyed, and you tried to shut down the debate by interrupting me, even though I had let you finish every time. So, this is recorded. This is going on my YouTube. I mean, are you too stupid to be embarrassed right now? I don't think you are. I think that you're smart enough that you feel fucking humiliated right now, And so if you ever want to do round 3, bitch, we can talk about Descartes and the definition of arbitrary, because I'll rip the Descartes shit apart. So
Yeah,
if
okay,
somebody
so
wants to set
anyways,
up
the
round 3,
definition of arbitrary, that doesn't even really matter. I told you that I was using phrases differently. So I don't, that you just saying, oh, well, the definition of arbitrary, okay, so you might define it or we're using it in a different way. That doesn't matter
okay,
at all.
I'm going
Even
up in
bring
the
that
other
up as
room
anything.
because
Okay, so
let me
anyways,
know when
oh,
he wants to do round 3.
so you're doing the same thing. We could just do it right now. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. You didn't do anything the first fucking 3 times.
She left.
The first 2 times.
bro.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
drag her back. Drag her back. I don't care.
Drag her back. Sure, you beat your ass all the way up and down the street. What? You want more of that? You're bleeding right now.
Yeah. Let me go lick your wounds, my man. You got shit on.
Don't go the Shamos route.
With your wounds, you say.
You guys are simps.
Holy shit, that kill screening was legendary.
Okay, yeah. So I think she's kind of fucking retarded because I had no way contested what she was saying. Oh, well, that you don't have knowledge, like in this conversation.
Well,
She
it's
wants to try and
apparent
hold
you
me to a
didn't
position.
contest
Wait. Okay, wait. So, okay, yeah. So, no shit, Sherlock. Thank you. So, anyways,
Well, you just
what I was saying
conceded.
is, and no, I contested. Hold on, wait. Conceded what? What did I concede?
You just said
What
you
did I
didn't
concede?
contest anything she said, which means you couldn't even bring forth an argument to contest her point.
Okay, wait. So okay, that this wasn't actually set up to be some type of a debate, anyways. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. She literally started just by asking me questions, and then like say, okay, there may have been contention, or not even contention, just like say some type of disagreement on what was interpretations on what was said. So if there is no actual debate, there's literally no room
Oh,
for
there
me to
was a
pull
disagreement.
bullied.
There was a
Talk to
disagreement.
Gomon about
I
this.
said
She
smaller
said-
points. Hold on, I smaller
she
points,
said
and then anyways,
you
what
did
was
not
you
answer
stating?
a single question. You said, "Oh, I did so. Give me one." She said, "Okay," and she gave you one. And you know what you did? You proceeded to not answer the question for the
I did though.
longest time.
I did that.
You
I did. I
overtalked.
said the same
You didn't
thing over
answer
and
the
over
question,
again. I
and then
said
you
the same question
eventually,
over and over
you
again. So
eventually
right now, what
finally
you're doing,
said
okay, so right now,
that
what you're doing is
your
you're
beliefs
actually just
were not
through your fucking
justified.
teeth. Either
You
that, or
thought
just like her,
you
you
thought
are
by
too stupid to
saying
understand what
that
was
they're an
stated. So
axiom.
the entire time I was
You
answering
thought
the
by
question,
saying that
and
they're an
then I
axiom
told
that
her,
you
I
actually.
explained it
What
to
are
her
you
how my
doing, buddy?
initial answer actually
What are
gave
you
her the
doing?
answer to her
Demi.
question
He's
in
trying
the
to
first
explain
place.
to you
Pretty
what
good.
I told her
happened.
that I answered that in the debate. That's what I had stated.
Hello.
That's what I stated in the debate, and that's what I
Javon,
had
turn down your
stated
blackness a
in
little
this
bit, please.
conversation as well. So no, right now you were just lying through your teeth. I don't know
Demi,
what you were trying
you're
to
no
accomplish by this. Is this
longer.
entire
You
circle
are
full of
no
rats? Like what the fuck is wrong
longer.
with you people?
You are no longer
Okay,
free from
what you're
moderation
saying.
if you continue to
Very
filibuster over
vaguely.
another interlocutor trying
He's
to
not
engage you.
talk over me.
stopping.
I know, I know.
My
He's
head's
scared.
off
This
anyways.
dude is scared shitless.
How
Go
do you-
ahead,
Yeah.
So
Gomon.
as I was saying, the reason why you didn't
Hold on,
answer
I
the
just put
question.
my headphones
Watch
back on.
this.
So someone just yelled. So what?
Can we go back? Can we move everybody back to the other room? Because this guy is not above moderation anymore. I mean, this is bullshit, this filibustering garbage he keeps doing.
All right, so before we do that, you want to find out if Godless wants to do round 3?
I've already asked her, and she's
All right,
not
so
responding.
if it's over, once we move upstairs, they will be in listen-only mode. So is that what we want?
Yes,
we can
that's what we.
She literally
fine.
said in
Well,
text chat. She
but-
said in text chat she wanted to do round 3.
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
Let's figure
tonight.
this out. Hold
Not
on, guys.
tonight,
I
though.
pro- I-
Not tonight.
Nobody said tonight.
I think it's
He did.
important. You really need to listen to what Jovan was going to say, because he was just going to explain to you why you can't appeal to the axioms for knowledge.
Can we just let Demi
I,
and
hold
Jovan
on, I
go at
literally
it?
said that I. Hold on.
Well, no, just,
I never
just let
said that I
Jovan
was though.
explain.
Hold
No,
on,
Demi's
I-
not going to let
hold on,
anybody
wait.
else talk. He's
I
going to
never said-
filibuster
I
like
never
he's
said
doing
that I
right
was.
now.
Hold on.
He's not going
I'm
to
trying
let
to
Jovan
address what
talk.
Kappa's
I-
saying.
He's
So
not gonna let
Kappa,
anybody
retarded
talk.
fat fucking loser.
No.
So, anyways, Kappa. So, hold on, Kappa. To what you were saying, I just want to answer that. So, hold on, fuck. They made me lose my train of thought. Repeat what you had just stated before that. Fucking
Godless, I tried to
we should
explain
set
to
up
this
round
guy.
3. We should set up round 3 for some time. But how
Hold
about
on, I'm trying to talk. Hold on, I'm trying to
How
talk to
about we
Kappa.
try a
Hold on,
one-on-one
I'm trying to
between?
shut the fuck up. I'm trying to talk to Kappa. He was trying to tell me something, and I was trying to respond to it. Some fat fucking loser was just trying to complain about filibustering. So, Kappa, please repeat what you had stated.
So the issue with Jovan was trying to explain to you the issue with appealing to axioms for knowledge. That's all, and you really need to listen to him.
Okay,
So
yeah, I
how
don't.
about we
It's a
do it
learning
one-on-one?
experience.
Hold on, I never stated that I actually like use that as justification. I said that's the only way that I can like have some semblance.
That
of,
was
like,
your
air
entire
quotes
argument.
knowledge. Hold on, wait, hold on. No, I said that I have axioms which I have beliefs off of, but they don't really. That doesn't equate to justification for it. I fucking said that. Like, what is, like, did you not listen to anything that I said? Like,
Why do you use those particular axioms?
because I have no way, like, with, say, just assuming that my logical faculties are good, just like, just assuming that they are.
Does
Like,
that
if I were
sound like
to operate
reasoning
under,
to you,
hold on, wait.
Godless? Oh,
That's,
wait,
hold on,
Godless.
wait. I never said that.
he's
I never
saying he
said
just does it on a whim.
is.
Yeah, no, Godless, listen to what he just said. He said that he
Okay.
can't use reasoning without assuming that his reasoning faculties are reliable. He's using reasoning right now, Godless.
Haha.
Hold on, that's literally what I
He's
said.
reasoning
the entire time,
to
because
his
I don't believe
axioms,
that-
Godless.
Demi, like,
Hold on.
I don't know why you keep doing this.
Rather than
Like,
just
you're
saying
not-
A
are
equals
you
like
too
C.
stupid?
I'm not talking to you. Oh my God. Like, Jesus, I'm trying to engage with Kappa and what is his name? Jovan? Is that your
why
name?
don't we have a one-on-one
It's
between Jovan and Demi, or
that's fine.
capitalism?
Well,
and them?
Hold on.
I
He was
tried to
trying
talk
he
to
was
him, but
trying
he
to say
just, the
something,
funny thing
but
is,
I'm
Godless,
trying
as
to-
soon as I started talking, just overtalks
Yeah,
every
he's
single
just
time.
gonna overtalk. So
I gotta
Demi,
go,
will you
but
agree
I'll
to
let
have a
Jovan take
one-on-one
over.
with turns? Will you do a one-on-one with turns where you don't overtalk your opponents in order
Okay,
to
wait.
silence them?
He wanted to explain something. So if he just wants to explain it,
No,
fine, whatever.
because you're just
go
gonna
ahead
interrupt him
and
again.
wait,
You're
wait,
just
wait,
gonna
What do you mean? I did try to explain it like 5 times.
Just hold on, just trying to do the same thing. I was like, all right, I'll just let him explain it. I'll just mute myself so that he could explain it. In fact, if you just stopped doing what you were trying to criticize me of doing, you would have heard that.
Jesus
So I'm gonna go
Christ.
ahead and mute myself. Give me a second, and I'm just gonna let you go on about whatever it is that you wanted to explain, Jovan.
One-on-one.
Wait, hold on, Joe. I'm not talking to you anyway. So Jovan, if you want to explain what you were
Yeah,
initially
there's
trying
no
to do,
point in
I'll just
talking to this guy. There's no point.
Hold on, wait. Hold on, Jovan. I'm just going to mute myself so that you don't get interrupted. So that even if, like, I don't know, some type of loud
Honestly,
mic
don't even
happens,
care anymore.
that's what I'm saying. Okay, so just explain it, because like I said, my bad. I'll just mute myself so that you can explain whatever it is you wanted to explain.
If you did that, you explain it, and then he would respond with some gibberish back, and then when it was your turn to respond again, he'd just start interrupting you.
He would just start
immediately.
interrupting. Yeah, there's no point.
Demi, why won't you
Wait, hold on. I'm not trying to have a debate. I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I just want to hear what he had to say. Because okay, I'm taking Kappa's advice. Maybe it's something I could benefit from listening to. That's why I said I'll just mute and go ahead and just let you explain whatever it is you wanted to explain initially.
Do you not realize that it looks cowardly when you have to overtalk your opponent to silence them when they're making points against you?
Oh my God. So I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. It's not just to silence you from making.
No, you're misinterpreting what she's
whenever
saying.
I perceive. Hold on, I literally just repeated back what she stated verbatim. Hold on. No, I'm telling you that your question is like kind of already based off of some misinformation. I'm trying to clear that up. So I'm saying that whenever I was talking over you, it's not because, I'm afraid to hear some type of contention against you. I don't know why you would say that. What I was doing, and I even stated it verbatim, maybe you didn't hear me because you just were trying to sit there and overtalk me over talking you. So maybe you just didn't hear what I said.
Overtalk me over talking you.
Well, yeah, no, I understand what I was doing was just like really rude. No, I'm completely self-aware about that. I understand that. But I wanted to finish what I was saying because I just wanted to address what Jovan was stating real quick. But anyways, so I stated that it's when I perceived that you were trying to speak falsities.
Demi, but the question was, do you not realize that it appears, whether it actually is or not, do you not realize how it appears very cowardly of you? Like, that's what everybody
maybe
in the
to
room
specific
thinks.
individuals, but I don't think that it's necessarily okay. I don't even think that's necessarily correct. I don't even think that's necessarily correct.
Matthew, what do you think?
About what?
When he overtalks, doesn't it look cowardly, like he's afraid to let his opponent make a point?
In some contexts, not all.
Okay, so Demi, why won't you just agree to have a conversation where it's fair and everybody takes their turn and nobody has to interrupt anybody?
I literally just said that with Jovan. Did you hear what I said, or do I need to repeat myself?
No, you said you would let him respond once and mute your mic. That doesn't mean a conversation.
No.
A conversation is responding more than once.
Hold on, no. I told him that I would just listen to whatever he stated. Potentially, he'd learn from it. That doesn't actually say I'm only going to interact with him that one time. I don't know why you would say that. So, anyways,
that's not what she just said.
From this. Oh my
she
God.
said that you didn't give any guarantee that you weren't going to interrupt after that statement.
Demi, like, this is
okay. I told him. I said that I'm just going to hold on. So
look, why don't
you're
you
not
just,
understanding
why are you
anything
doing
that
this
I've
to
been
yourself?
saying
Do you
this
not
entire
realize that
time.
this
So,
is
anyways, okay, so I'm trying to actually respond
Did
to
he
what was
take
being
off
said,
the fucking mic
but
again?
you're just trying to sit
He
here and
took off his
do what
headset. He
everyone
keeps
has been
taking
complaining
off
that
his
I'm
headset.
doing, which is very interesting. Okay, so hold on, let me fucking put my headphones back on. Anyways, so what I was okay, so what I was trying to say is that fuck, I already lost my train of thought. Okay, no, never mind, I found it. Sorry, I'm
Demi,
a little bit distracted. I was washing
look, do you not
something.
realize
So
that this is going to be on YouTube?
that
Do you not, like, this is going to be
okay,
immortalized on the internet?
this is fucking irrelevant anyways. So I'm not I'm trying to answer what was said earlier. So she said that there's no guarantee to that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I thought that I heavily implied it whenever I said, all right, I'll just go ahead and let you explain whatever it is that you were explaining. I'm just going to go ahead and listen because it might be something worth learning. So in this conversation, I clearly wasn't in, the prior conversation rather, I clearly wasn't interested in trying to learn from Godless. I just don't. So I was just trying to be an asshole to you. Like, I don't really care. That was the entire purpose of me coming in here. Was just
Look,
to try to maybe see if this would be entertaining or if I could be an asshole. But anyways, whenever I said, oh, well, this might be something to learn from with this Jovan character, whatever he has to say, I mean, does that not, you typically, not always, but typically imply, oh, well, person would be more inclined to just be quiet and listen just when they're trying to learn. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that's what's implied, or the image that is rather put into someone's mind whenever someone says, oh, well, I'm trying to listen, I'm trying to learn.
Like, Demi, do
Like,
you not realize
yes,
that
no?
this is gonna be immortalized on YouTube? Like, people can still access
Yeah, I told
this
you I
video
don't care.
after Look, you're just interrupting again.
Hold on, I already answered this though. So I mean, you're just trying to waste, or rather, you're not trying to. You are wasting my time just by asking the same question that I've already answered. So
You
yeah,
already
no, I told
answered
you I
it.
don't
Yes,
care.
you realize you're gonna be humiliated on YouTube for eternity?
No, that's not the question that you asked. You said, oh, well, don't you realize that people are going to be able to access this? This is going to be immortalized on the internet. I told you I don't care.
That's
I don't
not
care
answering whether you
by
knew it or
joining.
not. That's not answering whether you knew it or
Well,
not.
yes, I
What the
know.
fuck?
Hold on. Well, yes, I know, because you stated it earlier. You stated, and I told you I don't care anyways. So regardless of whether
Saying
I
don't
know it or
care
not,
isn't
I don't
answering
care.
it. You look so dumb
Okay,
right now. Saying I don't care isn't
answer that
answering
you
whether
might
you
not,
know
hold
it or
on, that's
not.
an answer. That's an answer that it answers that it's not important to me whether or not it is. So
Yeah,
like,
so
say
that's
if
not
you're
answering
saying,
the
oh well, do you
question.
know? It doesn't
That's
matter.
not an answer to the question.
May not be an answer that you like, but I'm
You
telling
look
you I don't
so
care that it's on
dumb right now.
YouTube.
Demi, stop doing it. Like, I feel sorry for you. I want to stop recording because I feel sorry for
Okay,
how
even
dumb
then,
you are.
earlier. So this is why I think you don't listen to what I'm saying half the time. Is because even when you're saying, oh, this is going up on the internet, I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't care. What do you think? Yeah, okay means.
This is so fucking. This is just getting boring.
Hold on. What do you
now.
think? Yeah, okay means. What do you think? Yeah, okay means.
I don't understand what you're asking, but what do you
Hold
guys
on.
want
What
to
do you
do?
think the phrase "yeah,
So,
okay"
Godless,
means?
you tell me, Godless, how is, if your position
Oh my
is like
God.
you don't know and you can't know whether or not the Christian God, well, that you can't know anything unless you start with the Christian God, and then he goes, I don't know whether or not Christian God exists. How is that an argument or even an opposite position to yours?
It's not.
Right. So he's
The
not
thing,
debating
the
you. That's
problem
the
is,
thing.
Jovan, he
For him to
doesn't even
take that
know. He doesn't
position,
even know that he doesn't know.
right? The point is that it's almost dishonest for him to come into a debate with the agnostic position on that, right? Because it's no longer a debate. It's basically him just criticizing your view.
Anyway, what do you?
Yeah.
You guys want to stay
Hold on.
on
Wait. I
here?
just
What
want
do
to.
you guys
I
want
just
to
want
do?
to say
It still
something
is a
to what
debate. What are
Jovan
you
had
talking
stated.
about,
So,
Jovan?
anyways, Jovan. So to
No,
what you were
in
stating,
these
I
debates in
I
which
wouldn't know
Goddess
what her
wants
argument
him to
was.
take
Okay, then.
the opposite position. She takes the position God exists. He takes the position God does not exist. Not, I don't know if God exists.
Well,
It
throughout the whole
doesn't matter because
discussion,
no debates are going to be happening if he won't agree to take turns like a good little boy.
Especially not going to agree to shit if you're going to try to talk to me like that. No.
Oh, now
Holy
he's gonna
fuck, I
say,
hate all
"Oh,
of you.
she called me a little boy, so now I won't debate her." That's gonna be your excuse. You're fucking pathetic.
No. I told you I'm not going to agree to say whatever terms you specifically lay out. Like you
Like, your
specifically. I
friends
just
are.
don't like you specifically. So,
Demi, your
anyways, if
friends are
Jovan
gonna watch
asked, hold on, wait.
this.
So if Jovan asked me the same thing, he really was like, oh, well, do you just want to have like a civil discussion? Yeah, I already said I'd be down with that. I mean, like maybe I didn't say it explicitly the first time, but then I did like the second time. So I
Do you
mean,
know
yeah,
that your
I'm more than
friends are
happy to
gonna
just
watch?
listen
Do you know
to
your
what he's
friends are
saying.
gonna watch? Do you know your friends are gonna watch this video?
Okay, yeah, I don't care about this question. Like, what part of this do you not understand? I don't care. These people that are on Discord, I
What
don't
if they
consider.
come
Hold on,
back
wait,
and
wait, wait, wait.
start?
I don't consider these people on Discord, with the exception of like 3 people who don't even care about debating. My friends, like
Okay, so anyway,
there's like a
do
very
you
small
agree
selection,
to
so I
have a
don't care.
conversation with someone where you take turns or no?
Yeah, anyway, so Jovan, could you just explain what you're stating? Because I'm actually interested. I might ask some questions, or like if I stop you in the middle, it's only to ask you to clarify like a term I don't know.
Why are you ignoring her?
Huh? Because I already stated I don't like her. I don't really care to interact with her any longer than is actually necessary.
You chose to have a debate with her, multiple debates. You came
Hold
in
on,
here. You
that
had people
wasn't
come in
that
here to
wasn't what
ask
this
her
was
around
for.
too.
Then she
So you
stated, and then
obviously
what
want to
happened in? Hold on,
interact
wait.
with
What
her.
happened in my call? What happened in my call? Actually, no. I just wanted to do something entertaining for them. I have no interest to interact with her specifically, because I thought, oh well, maybe if like nothing entertaining happens here, something entertaining would happen with other people. That was my thought process when coming into here. So no, it wasn't necessarily to have a conversation with her. But anyways, even then, people were coming into the VC that I was in and saying that she doesn't want to debate. She just wants to have like a conversation. Now, if they were wrong, then okay, then I wouldn't be at fault for like say trying to come in here and interact with her, then saying, oh well, I with the intent to interact with her, because I was just like, oh, or debate with her rather. Sorry, I'm a little tired right now.
Can we start, Demi? Let's actually, yeah, let's start over and just actually have a conversation where we're not trying to challenge each other. Do you want to just have like a calm discussion with no?
Yeah, I'm trying to ask
self-
Jovan some questions though.
Okay, go ahead. And if I like, I might jump in and add something, but it won't be to like try to oppose what you're saying. Okay. Like
Okay,
I
anyways,
was,
so
don't you want to be
Jovan.
able to debate like me? Yeah, learn some things from Jovan. Don't you want to be able to debate like us?
Okay,
Jovan,
so
Jovan, talk to
I'm
him.
not answering that question. So, anyways, there was something you were trying to explain earlier. What was that?
I don't remember.
It was like talking about axioms.
You were
Kappa
saying it
explained.
wasn't a debate as well.
That was something else.
That I'm not as interested in, but no, it was like Kappa talking about. I think he mentioned like you were trying to explain something about like using axioms to to have like some type of basis for knowledge, but that wasn't my position. I'm just curious to what you were going to say.
No, she was asking you a question saying, what beliefs do you have that are justified and that you know are true? Okay. You then said, I have axioms. Now, axioms, you self-admitted, are not justified, right? So that doesn't answer the question when she asked you, hey, what beliefs do you have that are justified, right? Because pointing to unjustified beliefs doesn't tell you whether or not you have beliefs that are justified, right? Because then you even went on to try to say something along the lines of when she critiqued you having arbitrary justifications or arbitrary axioms, you then said that, no, I hold those axioms for reasons, right? But that still falls prey to what she was saying and what she said, that you don't have any reason to believe that your reasoning faculties are reliable in the first place. You could just be deceived. You could just be wrong about those being necessary.
Demi, do you want to move the conversation in another direction, and we can tell you
Hold
what
on, wait,
you
wait. Before this, I actually just have some questions about what he was saying, because I just want to get these questions out before I lose my train of thought and I lose the questions. So, anyways, so whenever I don't believe that I actually believe that I stated that the axioms would actually like that's where all of my beliefs come from, and so and then when I used arbitrary, I was probably using it in a different way than what most, like, I guess, for lack of a better term, philosophy nerds use it in. Because, like I said, I think that's where there might have been some disconnect in like how I was defining or using these terms and how she was defining and using them. But like using reasoning for it, whenever I stated that, what do you what would you say is like the foundation for like knowledge? Because I mean, obviously everyone in here is a fucking atheist.
You want me to argue for your position?
There's lots of different
Well,
views.
no, I'm not trying. I'm just asking your personal opinion on this. Like, I don't really care for like some type
Have
of
you ever heard
syllogism.
of the Munchausen's trilemma?
Yeah, no, I mostly debate like not using fucking like only a few topics to actually have some type of I guess for lack of a better term, expertise in.
Well, he
Only a
doesn't
couple,
know
and
it
it's
by
not
he doesn't know it
philosophy
by
at all.
name,
So
but
I
he
usually
did
just
know
argue
that.
with rhetoric. So if that's what's
Do you
coming
know
right
what
here, that's probably
foundationalism
it.
is?
Yeah, that's the idea that there are like say assumed beliefs by which all of the beliefs are like
Do
derived
you know what coherentism is?
from. Not by that name. I mean, maybe if you describe it, I might know the general idea, but not by
Beliefs
that
are
name.
true whether or not they cohere with your web of beliefs.
With their what beliefs?
Your web of
Couldn't
beliefs,
understand
whether or
what
not it's basically whether or not
Okay.
the entirety of your beliefs are cohere to one another, whether or not they're true.
Mm-hmm.
Demi,
Okay.
but do you want to move the
So what's the
conversation in a different direction?
It's and then you have infinitism. So the point is, then Munchausen trilemma is saying that you either have the starting position, and you just go from there, or you have a circular reasoning, or you have and then infinite, which is just it goes on forever.
Okay.
Nobody
Yeah.
really is an infant. There's that view, but nobody really takes that view. It's very rare. Anyway, do you want to move the conversation in a different direction, and we can talk about what the correct responses to presuppositionalism is?
Yeah. So I had already heard this the other day. So anyways, whenever someone says, "Oh well, in order to have like reason, you have to have God," unless I was misinformed, the correct response would be pretty much they're trying to assert that God is actually what is it? That I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, the fucking edible's kicking in. But fucking what is it?
Trying to roll blow right
Yeah.
now.
The necessary precondition.
Yeah, the necessary precondition. Yeah, that whenever someone tries to say that, oh well, God is like the ultimate, or actually is like the giver of reason. That'd mean that he would be like, and they define it as like omnipotent and what is it? Doesn't tell a lie. Then that would mean that you're trying to use reason to justify an unreasonable being. But then if you try to say that, oh well, if you try to use reason to justify the fucking arbiter of reason, whatever you want to call it, that would just be circular. So it'd just be a form of question begging.
The presuppositionalist argument.
I mean, at least the one that
Yeah,
from my
it
recollection,
is.
your argument that you
It is.
used yesterday.
They're assuming God.
Yeah.
They're presupposing God exists in order to justify God's existence. So yeah, and they try to say some bullshit about it being virtuously circular, but that's bullshit because circular reasoning is always fallacious. But the thing about the presupper is when they are trying to point at your view is irrelevant because all you can agree to step in their worldview and presuppose that God exists and then try to reverse engineer for issues. Your view is irrelevant to, you can still make they're trying to claim that you can't make an argument against them unless you can justify your epistemology first, which is bullshit because you can agree to step into their worldview. And if you can show a reductio ad absurdum, which is like a contradiction in their worldview, that's a problem for them, whether you have a coherent worldview or not.
Yeah, you could say my view is false, right? But I'm going to now critique your view. But then they are just going to try to be dishonest, be like, well, then you came and critique my view because you have no justification for knowledge. You don't even know what you're saying to me right now.
So
even though they know that you know what you're saying.
Just agree to step into their worldview.
Yeah. So anyways, I believe that's what I did. I threw your own argument back at you, but I think that may have been due to what was stated earlier, some type of misunderstanding about what the premises of the debate was, because I thought that you were just simply defending, or rather strictly defending the Christian God's existence, while I was just being agnostic towards that. And that's why I brought up, oh, well, the crackhead down the street named Skaggs has the same qualities. So why is it Yahweh instead of Skaggs? So like I said, that's probably fucking miscommunication.
Well, it's not this. It's also the fact that you weren't answering her question initially, so she's not going to allow you to ask her a question that then derails from her questions.
No, the crackhead thing is kind of a response. It's just that presuppers have a lot of clever answers to that, so it's not the best route to go. But I mean, you could go with it if you catch them off guard or something.
Well,
but
I usually argue. Oh, sorry. What? There's a bit of latency on my end.
Most of the time, if you try and make some appeal to some other figure, they're just going to say, well, that's the Christian God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like you're positing a God in order to show that their God doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, they're just going to say, because I did this to Mr. Batman, I brought about the purple dinosaur argument. He just said, well, the purple dinosaur must be God then.
Yeah. So this is why I use like a bit more of my rhetoric rather than like knowledge on philosophy to debate. Which you'd be surprised how well that actually does. Fucking what is it? Whenever I tried to argue that, usually I would show them some type of characteristic. I would specifically choose a god, which is stated to be like all powerful and it does not lie, but has like blatant contradictions with other things in its nature. Like say the Christian God is actually have that whole Trinity doctrine, which is very easy to show. Most Christians actually do argue that. And then you could say it's someone like say fucking what's his name, Allah, which is totally different. Doesn't have a Trinity. So I mean, it's a lot easier to argue that, or like even like the Presence from DC Comics. I don't even fucking read DC, but I know enough about the character to know that he's stated to be omnipotent, does not lie, but then he's also like he has a physical, or rather a physical form that he always chooses, which is some bearded old white British guy in a bowler hat, much different than like the human form of like Yahweh, which is some short Jewish dude. So I mean, that's usually what I would argue for that.
This is an easy
A lot of times
explanation
they
of the
don't.
Trinity.
Oh well, no, I understand the Trinity doctrine, but like for example, the Quran directly like rejects the Trinity, so that was one that I would always use because I obviously don't believe in Allah.
Have you ever talked to Darth Hawkins?
No, I've had conversations with Mr. Batman, and
You should go after Darth
he would
Hawkins.
get picked apart pretty easily.
He
Darth
would,
Dawkins,
he would
yeah,
add
I
you
mean,
to the, he would get, when you start asking the questions he can't answer, he would just add you to the troll list, which means you won against him.
mhm. Yeah, and I've seen that happen with plenty of other debaters. Fucking Matt Slick does that. What's his name? Mr. Batman has done that to me a few times. Like it's a very boomerish tactic.
You should do it, and I'll record it and put it on YouTube, and it'll be named just Darth Dawkins Destroyed by a Dummy.
I think the server that I'm mainly in already has a YouTube. Yeah, I think he's in our server actually. But so Jovan.
Yo,
So do you take like a coherentist position, or do you take like what position do you take?
foundationalist.
Okay. So do you have like any or know any like lectures, articles, anything like that that would be good to get an understanding of foundationalism?
Google and look up Stanford Encyclopedia.
Okay, all right. I have a few things on that website. I'll just look up their list on fucking what is it? Foundationalism.
It'll point you to specific people too.
Okay, all right.
Look up the Munchausen's trilemma.
Could you type that in DMs just so that I can understand
Yeah.
it? I don't know if it's like your mic or something, but it's just that word specifically isn't very clear.
Yeah, Munchausen is not gonna be easy to spell. I posted in the general.
All right, here, let me check my phone.
It's two M's capitalism, you fucking dumbass.
Oh, Demi, I heard you, a bunch of people telling you hate women. I fucking hate women too. Jesus Christ, you know what, you gotta keep those bitches, mildly subjugated like they were in the 60s. Otherwise, you have all these, like, third wave feminists popping up. It's dangerous to be a man these days. It's like, all they have to do is say, claim you sexually harassed them, like in the office or something, and that you destroyed the man will get fired from his job, his wife will leave him, his kids won't talk to him anymore when he's completely innocent just because some woman fucking said so. It's so fucked up. And I do think
Is she
that
being serious right now? Like, what the fuck?
oh yeah,
Like,
there's videos on my channel of me talking about this.
oh, okay
That
then. Wow. I don't hate women. That's what I'm mostly confused about.
well, a few different people told me that.
Who told you that?
I could check the names and PMs if you really want. Check who it was in
Oh,
the thing if you really want to know.
right. I'm just confused. Because like, who said anything like that? Made a couple cringy incel jokes, but like that's all it was.
Notice very few. There's like only like 1 out of 100 philosophers is fucking female because they don't have as much intellect as
No,
men.
everyone else.
Yeah, females are retarded.
They think too much with their emotions. So they have the emotional side of the brain is the primary side, the primary part, and then the men's is this is just generally. This isn't in every case. This is just generally speaking. And then the men's is rational.
Is
There's
she actually
1%
being
of
serious or
philosophers-
like am I being trolled right now?
There's 1% of
Oh, sorry, I
philosophers.
can't hear you. My bad.
They're
Let me turn you up.
Guys, will you tell him that I fucking hate women? He's worried that I'm trolling him.
And Godless hates women.
If you go
To
to
be
my
fair, all
Twitter,
women
if you
hate
go to
women.
my Twitter, my pinned Twitter post is a screenshot of me going into the feminist Reddit and asking them a question, and immediately 4 of them not answering my question and telling me to fuck off. 4 different posts in a row just said fuck off. Women hate me too.
Okay, Karen. I did not expect to hear this when I woke up today. Like I'm pressing X to doubt that this shit is actually serious. But whatever. Oh, that's funny.
Well, are the other people not allowed to Demi or Diablos? I'm sorry, I yelled at you earlier. Are the other people not allowed to talk? They don't have the ability to talk in here because I'm about to go.
Does anyone else want to jump in? Type in general.
Oh, is everyone still muted?
Yeah, everyone is in mute except for you, Godless, me, Jade, and Demi. So if anyone else wants to talk, let us know. If not, thanks. Type in general or message Demi or Jade and have them speak up now. We'll wait like a minute or so.